Basically, we're just doing a recap of the animation session that we did yesterday, just to ensure that everyone is aligned. We've got new members joining us in today. We don't want them to feel left out. So we're just giving them an update of what was discussed before we continue with the next leg of the lesson, the 2-day workshop, 2-day animation workshop. So yes, absolutely what you said is so true. So we are in a position where when you're developing your IP or your intellectual property or your show, right? Most people think it ends there. It does not end there, right? You need to imagine your show as an advertisement. So you are advertising to your audience. You're using your IP as a way to draw in your audience, because the audience is who you want. When broadcasters come to you, or when you go to a broadcaster, let me just put this, when you go to a broadcaster to sell your show, yes, they might like your show, but the main thing they're looking for is, does your show reach the audience? Because that's how they get their money. Eyeballs. The more people you can pull in, the more numbers there are, the more advertisers find that desirable. That's how broadcasters make their money, advertising. So if you use your show as a way to pull in an audience, right? That's, you're pulling in an audience so that you can upsell them on either events, training, merchandising. We spoke yesterday a bit about merchandising, making clothes, building games. With one IP, with one show, you can literally create so many pockets of income and revenue. Imali, you can generate a lot of income from one IP. So you have to think of it beyond just on the screen, people watching it. No. It has to be beyond that. I've always seen she has books. You also want to make books because that's how you generate your income. We made an example of Disney, for instance. Disney will give us a film, Frozen, right? You go watch Frozen film. But the minute you leave the cinema and you go on your way, you'll see there's a Frozen pencil case. There's a Frozen school bag. They also have Disneyland, which is a place that people come to experience the Frozen experience or the Frozen environment. And you pay for all of that stuff. This is how Disney ensures that they make the most out of that one IP. It's not just the movie on its own. Because if they just made the movie on its own, they probably would not have made the profit that, you know, they were expecting out of the show. So you think of your animated content as a way to pull in your audience. Once you have that audience, you have the power because you have now the eyeballs, right? Now you can start upselling them on Izinto. You see? So that's why it's important to think of that show or whatever it is that you build as a company. Think of it as a company, because then it has so many legs, right, that you can extract value from. So that's just a high definition or highlight of one of the topics we discussed. We also looked at producing for animation. And today we're going to go in depth on producing for animation. Because what happens is, like I said, Izolo, most people focus on the technical side of animation. Principles of animation, the technical drawing and all of that stuff, which is beautiful, okay? But then what? Once you've learned these into zakhona, so uyakwazi ukdraw, so uyakwazi animator, then what? How do you sustain yourself? Right? You need to understand the other side as well. It's not just the technical part, you need to understand the business of animation. And that's where producing comes in. And it helps you if you're a producer that understands the technical side of animation. Even though you don't know how to draw, you don't know how to rig, but if you understand the process required, then when you are, as a producer, going out and negotiating deals, you'll be able to make relevant assumptions and relevant estimations that won't kill your team. We made a joke, Izolo, to say, the producer that have no idea about animation, they just know how to produce. And they don't understand the animation that is cut. So what's the expect to use 5 minutes in 2 weeks? And it's like, you're killing your team. But if you're an animator that understands the pipeline you're able to look at it and say, okay, you want 10 characters, 15 environments, 20 assets, which are environments, I'm a background. Characters, characters, they're the humanoids or whatever beings that engage, that speak. And then our assets would be like your objects, imoto. It doesn't speak, but it moves. You have to animate it, right? So with that 10 characters, 20 backgrounds, 50 assets, you need to create all of that stuff. But if I'm a producer that doesn't understand the technical part of it, I'm going to be like, I'll draw and fast, fast, so 2 weeks, right? And then what happens there, the product becomes, the result of that product is not, it becomes a mess, right? So you understand real pipelines, real timelines, and it helps you to be more efficient in that sense. Any questions so far? A young blaster lento le. That's man. This is fine. And then when maybe we shift like a ngani lana, ne? See? This is better. Okay, cool. Okay. So what does producing mean? Remember guys, there's no wrong. Just based on your knowledge, what does producing mean? Yes.
Ngingathi producing mhlambe kakhulu to the funding side of things. Let's say uzoqala project thola ama-funds of le project leyo.
Yes.
I-team nokuthi bazohola kanjani.
Absolutely, yes.
Maybe dealing with ama-contracts nabo and contracts with abantu who are in partnership nawe.
Yes.
Overseeing ukuthi everyone plays their role into the project iphele.
Yes.
And maybe beyond that, must be the project, like where does it go, like the marketing side of thing, talking to the people side of record and all that. Yeah.
Anyone else want to try? That's a good response.
Just to simplify, I think it's someone who tends to micromanage the whole project itself. The director also keep track of, the production timeline. If you're gonna start off with 2D, then go into 3D, rendering, all that kind. Yeah, it's like that.
Did you guys hear that? Limzwil, please can you repeat that louder?
So for me, producers are someone who tends to micromanage the whole project itself and oversees how the project is executed from beginning to end. For animation, start off maybe from 2D, then 3D, then rendering, and everything else in between. So yeah.
So basically the person that oversees the production, right? And what, okay, before I go in, anyone else want to give it a try?
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead. Umpati. Simplified, yes.
So, yeah, from pre-production, production to distribution, as Steph mentioned.
Yes.
So for me, a producer is someone who is in charge of the project, making sure that everything is in order. If you have to hire people, get people to assist in the making of the project, you hire people, and you report to the executive producer. Sometimes the executive producer can also be the producer as well. So you can be the exec and also the producer. So
yeah, that's absolutely true. King, do you want to give a shot? What is the definition of a producer? No? So yeah, well done guys. I think that's important. Most people think the director is the leader. No. The producer is the leader. And the producer uses two things: budget and timeline. Budget and timeline. Those are the two things that the producer uses as a compass to navigate the production. The budget and the the timeline or the deadline or the date in which we need to be done. So if the director comes and says, oh, I'd like this car to do a spin and then explode and go to the moon, the producer says, we don't have the budget. Just film, which animation falls under. A producer is the person that determines they give the barriers. So the director reports to the producer. Yes, you know, they determine whether or not this production, depending on how, you can have the most talented director, like the best director. If a producer, the production will fail. Because the producer is responsible for scheduling. The producer is responsible for the contracts. The producer is responsible for employing the right people in their team to ensure they can execute what's required. The producer brings everyone together for this shared vision. Everyone that works on a production has their own vision of what the final thing will be. The sound guy has his vision. The director has his own vision. The animators have their own vision. The illustrators have their own vision. The producer comes in and says, this is what it is. And a really good producer will make it so that every department at least gets something that they want. Something. It might not be 100% what you want, but at least uzotola something now ube satisfied. Yeah.
So when it comes to having like the final say of, let's say, the cuts, right? I know sometimes directors have the director's cuts, and
yeah.
The producers also want to do something.
That's why you have a director's cut. Because the producer was like, aye.
Yeah. It's not always the case, but I'm saying like who has like the final say of a production? Is it the director or the producer? Because the director do tend to focus on the creative aspects of.
Yeah. The final say is the producer. The producer is probably the one that hired the director or selected the director for the production, right? Unless the producer themselves is the director. Because especially if it's you guys starting your own company, starting your own productions, chances are you're going to be doing everything. You're going to be producing it, you're going to be directing it, you're going to be animating, you're going to be doing all of that. But for the purpose of Le Classe Namhlanje, it's focusing with the importance of a producer. Because we start there, right? You don't need to know how to draw, you don't need to know how to be technical. You just need to understand the overall function of e-production. Guti sevenza kanjani from start to finish. One guy once said to me, a pilot is in the front of a plane, but the pilot knows what's going on at the back of the plane, right? That's the producer. You see? Any questions? Confused.
No, I had a question, but
yes.
It's more film than animation.
Let's go. Ask.
For example, let's say the director and the producer have sat down, they've discussed or whatever that they've communicated in terms of the direction of where the film goes or how it goes.
Yeah.
Everything has been decided.
Yeah.
We're now on set. We're about to shoot and action. Right? Can the producer address the cast during that time and say, no, I don't want such and such shots?
No.
No, right?
Yeah. A good producer understands not to overstep. There's a reason why you have a director. That's the director's role. But the director reports to you. So when you engage with the director to say, Isha's director, I don't think this works. Why doesn't it work? Asina mali for that thing often uyenza. It's either gonna kill the budget or it's gonna delay timelines, which is unacceptable. You see? Producer, okay guys, let's change the set. No, unless you are the director and the producer at the same time, but the roles are different. Okay? Yeah, if a producer is doing that, just know that they're overstepping. There's a hierarchy in terms of production, and it's deliberate. It is why productions are successful, because there's a hierarchy and there's a system in place. Right? So essentially, you're building systems to ensure you can execute. I'll get to you quickly. One thing that I realized getting into it, because I'm self-taught, so I came into the space not understanding anything. So I was doing all of these roles, right? Not understanding Gucci, there's things like timelines and all. And when I'd look at my content at the end, I'd be like, man, why is it not like I draw really, really well. But why is my final production not clean? Why doesn't it look like Dragon Ball Z or all this other animation that I like? I couldn't understand why. And then I got to understand over time, there's systems in place that ensure that that takes place. Okay? It's like we had this discussion yesterday, you guys doing 15 minutes of animation in what, 2 months, 3 months? Yeah, about 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So how do you expect to achieve the certain quality that you want if you are just going at it, just going at it? I'm not saying don't go at it, because that's what I did in Kalenje by going at it. But then I realized as I did that to say, actually, no, there's a process. Okay? So having a good producer will allow you to understand, or being a good producer will allow you to understand holistically all the roles that will achieve that quality. It was only when I understood why do you have a line producer? Why do you have a project manager? Only after understanding that did then now the quality of my animation improve. But I've always known how to draw. Like, yo, you know? You had a question?
Yes, no, I just wanted to answer because I feel like their questions are similar. And I do have a little bit background.
Yeah, please, let's share.
So the producer normally don't come to set. We hardly see the producer on set.
She just walked in, Teddy, this is
Yes.
an answer for you.
Yeah, Teddy,
Yeah.
here's your answer.
So we hardly see the producer on set, but the director is always there. So, yeah. So uproducer ufika ngaleso sikhathi on set. And siyatatazela nasibona uproducer on set.
It's okay, that's the
Yes, you understand. But most of the time the director is there, vele nje indawo yakhe. If there's any problems, if there's anything, remember there's director AD and first AD is na.
There we go.
So the first AD will take notes and everything. That's why there's an AD report at the end of the day. In that report, you write what were the challenges, everything. So normally they have meetings nama producer where they address goods on set, when they go 1, 2, 3, 4. So they are aware what's happening on set, even if they're not there. But are based on set, kakhulu. So basithusa vele mabafika siyatatazela bafuna, you know. So bafeeling kunjalo. Ngapha ka animation, I'm not sure. That's why I'm
Same principle.
Yeah.
Same principle. On your day-to-day engagement as, say, an animator or sound producer or someone working on the production, if you're not the director, on a day-to-day basis, you won't interact with the producer. It is only the director and the executives that will engage. Yebo.
Go to director because the director was a shot list, the director was a good funny shot lesson ET and then we'll give this white shot or whatever. So when it comes to animation, do you storyboard without to direct?
No. When it comes to animation, the storyboard is the tool that director uses to direct the film. Because in your storyboard, you have camera angles. So this is where the camera is gonna be. You have the length of the shot. This is how long this shot's gonna be. 5 seconds, 2 seconds. You have what the content of that shot will be. Maybe there's 2 characters talking. So lana kunama character out 2 ayakhulumisana. So that storyboard gives you all that information. So if you give that to an animator, uti, here is your shot. That's what the director will give the animator, right? Here is your shot. It's got 2 characters. It's got a slow camera pan or slow camera zoom, right? No hectic animation, it's just dialogue. This is the dialogue in this shot. That's directing the animation visually. So the director, the storyboard, a good director creates storyboards, or will have an assistant who ends on a storyboard and then director. But that is the tool that a director uses.
So from the from the beginning process of the story
Yeah.
to the end, from usiletha nangu-director, i-process yaka-animation nje isuke no-director phakathi yonke uzofika
From the jump, yeah. From the jump.
Alright.
From the... Yeah?
You can't edit without the director.
Yeah, the director's directing the thing.
Okay.
Remember, the director is the one with the overarching, like, technical vision of how this thing must look, how it must sound, you know. The producer is the one that says, now, from a timeline, scheduling, basically the producer does the roadmap. The director will say, I want us to go from A to B, for example. The producer will say, okay, for us to get from A to B, this is how we will do it successfully. Meaning every day we have meetings. In those meetings, you're giving me feedback, na report. Right? Not to the producer, I'm just saying he'll set up the schedules, right? He'll also set up the contracts so that when the team's working on the project, everyone knows their roles. It's clear what it is that they're doing, and it's clear how much they're getting paid. It's clear, everything is clear, right? If there is an executive producer or an external client that's involved, the producer will engage that client. Because the chances are clients don't know anything about animation. But abafuna the final delivery. Manzobahlalisa manje kuma meeting, discuss ama storyboard, nizobabhora. It's a waste of time. So they just want to hear from the producer, high level. Yabo, this is where we are. We've now completed first phase. We're moving on to the second phase. We need the next deposit to come in so that we can continue on the next phase. You know, they're pushing for the production to move without getting technical, detail, you know what I'm saying? So that is the producer's role. Go ahead. I love the questions. Yes.
Am I wrong if me as an animator,
Yeah.
ngithi whenever somebody's giving me a task, Teddy, please write a script, or vele lesi scripting isibhala as the animator. As the animator also, I'm gonna animate that script. Ngizobe ngikhona nje mhlambe kwa script writing naka animation also. Am I wrong if as an animator ngithi I'd really love ukuhlangana ne-client so to get ukuthi yini ayifuna in whatever projects that I'm doing or whatever adverts that I'm doing for yena lo muntu lo njenge-animator ngihlangana ne-client?
That's a good question, and it's part of the slide that I have to show you guys. So we're going to do a case study on a project that I created or that I worked on and that I produced, né? And also co-wrote. Okay. This was a project, and we touched on it a bit yesterday, but now we're going to go into it in depth. This was a project between 4 territories or 4 different places, meaning no one was at the same place during this production. We had the executive producers in the US. We had the consulting company in France. So the executive producers, they say, Ish, we want to tap into Africa. Asaz muntu lapha Africa, asaz next. But we know this consulting company that has a network in Africa, particularly South Africa. So we will go to them. They will then find the teams that will help us create the product. So you've got an executive producer, the US, you've got the consulting company in France, and then you've got us in South Africa. So you must understand time zones. Fine. So even communication as a producer, you need to make sure that everyone understands what is happening at all times. So thinking about those little details is important. And then on top of that, the talent is spread out. You've got some in Cape Town, you've got some in Paris, you've got some in Johannesburg. It's spread out. So even they need to be managed to ensure that all the stuff that they do, they deliver on time and to the quality that the main client in the US desires. So you understand, it's not a joke, right? And to be able to do that, you need 4 qualities. As you can see that I've put there. Number 1, you must be able to be strategic. You must be able to strategize. Please write this down. All right? You must be able to strategize. Okay? Can we make this thing clearer? As the Lena, okay. This is a different one. I'm not sure. Is it okay? How do I zoom in? Do you guys know? Okay, let me do it maybe this way. Yeah, I don't know. This is a different, but it's fine. I'll just do it like this. That's better, né? Yeah. Okay, so we have the strategist. That quality, you shape the project's overall direction. So you strategize, how will this production be done? What software are we using? What is the best software to get us there? Yeah, we'll put.
If the producers act with the actors.
No ngabuza ngesizulu akunankinga.
If I'm a producer, asebenza nama actors.
Is this your question, Frank? Huh? What's the question? Oh yeah, they do. You hire the actors like it as a producer. So you decide who you want to be on the project, the production. So you have to engage with them, right? Okay. So basically, just going back to what I'm saying, you have to be a strategist. You have to strategize the project. What softwares are we using? Okay. Because you have to think about costing. Are we using open source software, which is free, online, or are we buying licenses? How many of those softwares are we putting together? What platforms are we using to communicate? There's Discord, there's SyncSketch. What are we using to make sure that everyone is able to understand what's happening? Okay, so you strategize. Who am I bringing into the team? Which director has the vision that I want? Which talent, which lead senior animator can I get on this project? Or am I getting maybe 2 seniors and then the rest of the team is juniors so we can save on budget? Or am I getting 4 or 5 seniors, no juniors because you don't want to compromise on quality? Really, that's all up to you as a producer to think about. So you have to understand the pipeline and you have to be strategic. Number 2, you have to be a financial coordinator. Imali mele uyazi. This is my favorite part. It's the money. But real talk, you need to know budgets. You need to know how to budget. And you need to keep a close eye on the budget because in every production, things go wrong. Sometimes big, sometimes small, but every production has challenges, right? Which affects the finances and the timeline. But just sticking to finances, you need to understand where you draw the line to say we are ring fencing this, we're not doing this, we can't hire more people. We have to keep it within the said budget. Okay, so you must understand. You need to be a good communicator. You need to be able to give instructions clearly. You need to be able to communicate to the client, the executives, clearly so that you engage and you give confidence. Because executives, once they lose confidence, production is probably done because why? They are risking imali, they're putting their money in there, so they need to be confident that this thing will be done. So you have to communicate clearly. Don't worry, I'll share this slide with all of you guys, né? So you can have. And then lastly, the last key quality to have. I'm only listing the key qualities here. There's obviously more qualities, but these are the keys. You need to be a risk manager. You need to be a problem solver. Makuvela inkinga kumele wazi ukuthi yo senza kanjani, sivala kanjani le. Pretty much the lifeline of the production ime kuwe, ime ngawe. Right? So these are the 4 qualities that worked for me. I had to have all of these qualities to ensure that this project that's happening in multiple countries at the same time makes sense. Okay? Any questions? Okay, so this is the project that we worked on. You guys know Sesame Work, Takalani Sesame Workshop, right? You know that, right? So this project was intense. We had to create 3 minutes of animation in 4 months. 2 different episodes. One 1 minute 30 seconds, and another 1 minute 30 seconds together, 3 minutes, right? And because it's 2 different projects, they both require 2 different teams. Because we're doing it at the same time. It's the same team, but we have to split it. You know? So basically managing 2 productions at the same time. I'm going to play this for you guys so you can watch it. And let's see if we can lift it up. Can someone please help me with this? Do you guys know how to use this? Just with you guys, woman. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's better. That's much better. Yeah. Okay, more context. So, for this production, let me play it first actually. Okay, so this production was quite interesting in that we were working with a studio already. So we weren't working with a client that doesn't understand animation. This is Sesame Workshop, it's what they do. So they already had the characters designed. They gave us the characters, okay? But now the type or the style of animation was something that we had never done before, which was cut-out animation. You guys know about cut-out animation? Does anyone want to give a try? You seem like you might have an idea.
When ngicabanga about i-cut-out animation ukuthi ngifikela ngicabanga what's this? South Park.
South Park, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as I know they actually use papers, but now they are using software to maintain the same look. But characters are designed in 2D. Maybe there's a simple rig to move them around.
Rig being the operative word. Anyone else want to try? No. Okay. So you know you've got 2 types of 2D. No? You've got your traditional, which is just drawing. You draw all the poses, the character moves, you draw one, and you're going straight ahead. Right? That's traditional. That's my favorite. That's the one that I am an expert in. Okay? I also cut out now. But then cut out is, like you said, rigging. So think of I'm a puppet pin. As uno popi, right? They've got pins on their joints and you control them. So you're not drawing. You've drawn the character once, Emile, but now you're just controlling all the things that you've, so ngati puppet. So that is good, especially if you want to speed up production. And it's also good if your team is not a drawing team. Because once I've designed the character, all you need to do as the animator is just make it move. You're not drawing anything. You're using the software to make it move. So it's good for speeding up production. If we had to do this in traditional animation in 3 months, for 4 months, we would have not done it. We would not have done it with the team that we had. So that's the strategy now that came into play. Like, let's come up with ways for us to execute this in the best way possible. We had never done cutout before. But this was the best way to do it, right? The easiest way to do it. And fortunately for us, Sesame Workshop had the characters rigged already. You see? So they gave us the characters already ready to animate. We didn't have to start from scratch. So it's very important to mention that. Okay?
Right. So on the software itself, the characters are in 3D format.
No.
They are
No, it's 2D. This is all 2D. So this is all 2D, but in principle, the thinking is similar to 3D, right? In that it's rigged. Sambunani. Are you guys attending the lesson? Oh, sorry. Sharp. So yes, we had to adopt a new pipeline, which means new software. Right? So now that's the challenge. New software, training up a team of juniors on new software so they can understand how to do this. It's not going to work. I had a team of 10 juniors who were very exceptional in illustration. If you can see these backgrounds, these are the juniors that painted these. Really good at traditional cutout. So I didn't want to risk that. So what did I do? In the budget, which was very tight, I had to make provisions for experts. Okay? I had to tap into my friends, tap into my pool, my network, people that I trust, people that know me, that owe me favors. I'm serious. Because for this is a mammoth task to do. I had to rely on my relationships, which is why as a producer, you have to be good with people because you will need them. You have to have a wide pool of talent. You have to be that. You have to network. You have to be in spaces where you're engaging with people. You can't say you're a producer the whole time. Doesn't make sense. So I looked at this and I was like, I'll need 4 exceptional guys who know cut out. So that when the juniors come on, this will also be a training exercise. So that in future, when projects like these come, I'm not spending 30% of the budget on hiring exceptional seniors. Instead, I'm just going to hire the juniors because they can do the senior work. They just don't have the experience yet. See, once they've accumulated that experience, they work their way up, they will still be affordable, less expensive than the 4 seniors, but then the work won't be compromised. So that's the thinking now, right? You're thinking finances. How are we going to make profit? You also want to make a profit out of this thing. Remember, guys, we don't do this just for fun, just for playing because it's nice Popeyes. You do this so you can live. You know, a lot of us come from situations where we need finance. We need to sustain ourselves. Okay, this is real talk. This is not a joke. It's good because it's what we love, it's our passion, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is you need to survive. Okay? So you have to think of the financial implications. Otherwise, you know? Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So when did you realize that you're going to need cut out?
Yeah.
After the presentation,
Yeah.
what they want?
Yeah.
Or ubone ukuthi okay, le nto engiyisebenzisayo mina it's not gonna work. I need to use the cutout. Yeah. So as a producer, uyibone nini leyo nto leyo? Usuvumile i-contract wa-agree on doing this, or was it before? How did it affect your budget? You know, uvume before i-budget, mhlawumbe angisho siyazi kuthiwa how much can you charge me doing this? You know, ubese uyaba-charge. Bayilethe livumelane i-contract sign. Then when you are doing it, then you realize, man, ngizodinga lokhu. So i-question yami ithi ubone nini wena ukuthi uzodinga cut out, not the traditional way?
Really, really important question. I started by also mentioning that it helps you as a producer to know and understand animation, the entire pipeline. So I came in as an animator and then developed, because I run a studio, automatically into a producer. That means I understand. I know what it takes. I know how long it takes. I've done it. Right? So that's my superpower. So how I understood when to decide what it's cut out or it's traditional was after I received the brief. The minute the client presented to me, because we had a meeting with the executive and the consultant. The minute the consultant said to me, okay, this is 3 minutes of animation broken down into two, so two 90-second pieces. Then I was like, okay, first note, ngiyazi ukuthi 3 minutes at this quality, because I know Sesame Workshops work. I already know, it's okay, 3 minutes of this we can do. But I wasn't ready to commit yet. My next follow-up question was, what's the script? Because in the script, that's where you know exactly how many things you are creating. How many characters are there? How many environments are there? How many assets? That's all in the script. Now for this project, the client didn't have a script. You see? So they came to us and they were like, can we workshop a script together? So now I had to think, okay, so that means I need to charge them for consulting. Because now it's my time workshopping with you. You see? Not a script writer, but what I can do to make this fun is I'll bring my whole team in, even the juniors, everyone, including the executives, so that they can all meet. And then all of us together, we can workshop the script. And then once we have a rough idea, the client will then refine it and tell us, and then we will get a final. Or the consultant will refine it based on the client's feedback, and they will provide a script to us. So that's what happened. Once Satwela is script, that's when I knew immediately. I was like, traditional won't work. It won't work. It won't. In actual fact, the script was even longer. We had to cut it. I had to be now that producer that says, we are going to stop this production because we just can't afford it. The budget versus the expectation. You see, the client was actually pushing it to 2 minutes per episode. But the budget that they had was strictly for 90 seconds. So again, as a producer, don't be a pushover. Most people, and we mentioned this, and I want to touch on it because it's so important. You guys know imposter syndrome? Have you ever heard of the term imposter syndrome? Do you want to just share what imposter syndrome is?
It's like a feeling like you don't feel like you belong there or you deserve the position that you earn. Yeah.
Anyone else want to try? That you don't fit in, yes? You're not good enough for the work? Yeah. Yeah. So in many instances, we find ourselves in very high positions, and then we doubt ourselves in those spaces. Like, am I good enough to be here? Is what I'm saying, am I confident about what I'm saying? That thing is in all of us. Each and every one of us in this room. Okay? Yeah, make a note there, because we have to have these conversations, guys. You're in a space, you're the most qualified person to do this job, but you're doubting yourself in that space. Okay? So I needed to have a lot of confidence working on this project. Like I said, it was the first time doing it. If I didn't have that self-belief, that confidence that every idea that I'm saying now is going to happen and it's going to happen no matter what, this would not have been successful. If I didn't have the confidence to tell the clients there that we are stopping this now because you're not meeting us where we need to be met. There's no compromise here. You just and we must do everything you're saying. If I don't have the confidence to stand up for my team and say we are stopping now, yeah, but obviously in a professional way. Yeah, in a meeting I said, yeah, that is what you need. And that thing you learn by being in the field, by doing it, by accumulating experience. Understand? It doesn't just come out of nowhere. And also by believing in yourself and sharing your work. Yes. Even that little drawing that you have, share it. Because what happens is you get feedback from people. It gives you thicker skin. Now when people give you negative feedback, it's not like your whole world crumbles. You know, it's okay. They're actually building me to be better. I take that information that you're saying, negative as it is, I implement it so that it can help me improve. It's not just about hearing good things. I like your work all the time. You're going to be stagnant. So, just coming back to how we got to the point where we determined how this was going to be executed, it took a lot of that confidence and that self-belief. And that's a personal journey that you need to go on. Yeah? Okay. Any more? Yes. Eight. Then I'll come back and we'll continue. Nah? I just need a body break.
To do that,
Yeah.
and you are charging based on tier 2.
Okay. So, again, I'll have to look at who I'm talking to.
I used one pen and I finished it.
Yeah. You know, the technical side of it, right? When you're negotiating and stuff, to a degree, that's your secret, right? The client who's paying you doesn't need to know that. They don't need to know that it takes you 5 minutes to do that, because if they know that, they're going to underestimate it and they're going to want to pay less, right? So you want to sell yourself like, yeah, it took me 5 minutes to do this, but it's because I've got 30 years of experience. That's why. So what you're paying for is 30 years of experience. That's what you're paying for, right? The argument is not about if you could do the same thing or not. No, I'm saying I've done this for 30 years. So my value is higher, right? Make an example. I've had an instance where a client came to us, right? We were pitching, actually. They didn't come to us. We were pitching. And it was 3 companies that were pitching for this. The client was Prime Media. And the idea was they wanted to do a billboard. They wanted a company that will help them with their billboard designs, right? All across, nationwide. Right? If you guys see a lot of billboards, you'll see it says Prime Media there, right? Yeah, they own those billboards. Okay, so they had a campaign and they needed a client that does animation, does visuals to assist, and we were one of 3 that were pitching. Okay, we were the only black studio pitching. We were the youngest studio pitching. They loved us in person, in principle. The idea they loved. The only issue was we came in at the lowest price. So they were like, you guys are so cheap. Will you give us quality? We're not sure. And they didn't go with us. So undercharging also works against you. If I have money and you come to me and you say, I will do it for 200. Now I'm looking at you like, 200? Yeah, 2,000, because I understand finance, right? I understand work, I understand hours, I understand rates. Now you're coming cheap. I'm going to go for someone that's coming with like not too expensive, but a decent amount. You know, after we lost that job, I was like, guys, now we're charging now. And we thought it was a lot of money that we were costing there, that we gave them. Basically, it was a lot, but it was nowhere near what the expectation was. Yes.
So as in number amount of people that abasha charging kakhulu.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you got say emini imisebenzi ukuyiyeke because usayi ngeke you are charging. Ngikhumbula I had this guy, old director, seventh in Cape Town, right? And there's this company, Funa Storyboard 70 second for Pepsi or something. What goes to say, Gacha Chamadin. So when I was like 30 second, 30 second, let's say maybe 500, 600 rand, I'm Cheralo. What's it, no, bro? 10,000 rand.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Because I'm understanding how many pictures.
Yeah. But essentially, like, I was so surprised. You know, what? Still, I doubt another 8,000, but I'm king. Got a storyboard box and what?
Yeah.
Yo, so in the web pricing, I guess we are young in the cause. I mean, something is like a show some edits here.
Sure.
So the space la uthola ukuthi imisebenzi eminingi iqhamuka as a result of imicimbi yade shoot ethile abantu bafuna ba-edithe.
Yes.
Yeah. So lapho abantu bakhona banomqondo ukuthi thina sikhokha malini for service yabo.
Yeah.
Video 1 hour yomcimbi or edithiwe bakhokhela ama-editors or 300 rand or 400 rand.
Yeah.
So ngahlangana nabantu abakwi-industry abakhokha o 2000 and what yabo ngagcina ngistika nabo laba ngabona ukuthi
Exactly.
I have to do umsebenzi of 5-6 to meet leya mali leyana sithatha isikhathi sami sonke ngabona ukuthi okay sometimes indawo ohlala kuyona nabantu associate nabo kuyenzeka ukushaya ungayazi true value yomsebenzi wakho ngenxa yaleso space leso, so it helps ukuthi ubona abanye abantu see ukuthi
Your environment is key. One of the things that I told you guys is I'm self-taught. That means I didn't go to school for this thing. So in order for me to get as much information I could about this thing that I'm passionate about, I had to surround myself with people that are in school learning the thing. So I made friends now want to say university that are studying animation. I could not get access to AMA softwares. Guys, I didn't even have a computer. So I had to do animation at internet cafes. I went and I worked at internet cafes. Ngibalayitela ama-computer, ngibacleanela ama-computer, ama-antivirus, installing antiviruses, and ngibacimela ama-computer. And in return, they didn't pay me money, but they gave me access to say, yeah, you can use this the whole day. So there's internet, there's a computer, I'm learning. But now, there's no software. Ngiloko ngibhala ama-notes. There's no software. Palama notes, okay. Animation principles, squash and stretch. And then I'm going and I'm practicing at home. The only people that had access to software were the students. Because the skoleni, they get it there for free. So I had to ask them, can't you just forget the USB? And then they did. Now I'm there at the internet cafes. Yeah, I'm trying, but I don't have the drawing pads or whatever. I'm drawing a mouse. But the idea is I'm trying to learn. No, at the time for me, it didn't even feel like it was a problem. For me, it was like, I'm doing it. Hey, it's moving. I'm excited. Yeah. Yeah. You know? So your environment is important. Very, very important. So now because I'm talking to these guys, I'm hanging out with them, more than just them giving me izinto, like software, whatever. Inkulumo zabo. Yo, bro, I've got this project. Ish, we're working on Maya now. Hey, we're doing this thing. Now I'm learning the language. Oh, okay, so this is what it is. I made a joke yesterday to say I didn't know a lot of the slang in animation. So like things like VizDev, right? VizDev is short for visual development. Me, I was like, VizDev, you need VizDev. You know, stressed out. No more online. What is VizDev? Until eventually it clicked. Oh, visual development. Okay. Because I was in the space with those people. So environment is key. Yeah?
I want to ask you a question, bro.
Please.
Self-taught, right?
Yeah.
When you advertise yourself as an animator, would you at that time you were still a junior animator or?
Yeah, very much a junior. So in my mind, oh sorry, no, continue.
So when would you start establishing yourself as now it's a junior more, I'm more of a medium or senior animator?
Yeah. In my mind, I knew I'd never get a job. I've never applied for a job in my life. Like I'm applying for this job, get it. All the jobs I've worked, like now I work at Wits, I was headhunted. I came in to say, you know what? I'm not going to school for this thing. There's no one that wants me. That was my mindset. No one wants me. I have to do it myself, ground up. Can you please turn up that light now? Like, I have to build. I don't know. It's fine. I have to. My strength is in my hands. If I'm gonna survive, I have to do it myself. That was my mindset because maybe it's because of my environment, how I grew up. You know, my mom was hardly employed, but there was money. She was hustling. Thing is so tamati. Next thing, selling clothes. Next thing, she's a waitress. Next thing, she's all over the show. Next thing, she's a hairdresser. Right? So being exposed to umuntu ozenzelayo, that also gave me that drive to be like, okay, I can do myself. My stepfather, we never had a job. My stepfather came from Uganda. He walked from Uganda to South Africa for 3 years. So when he came here, he had zero opportunities, zero nothing, and he had to build himself from the ground up, work with people. So that entrepreneurial spirit of saying, you can do it yourself was always in me. I knew I didn't have the qualifications to do this, but I was passionate about it. So you know what? I'm going to do it. And I had friends that were getting employed now by these studios. There was a studio called Pollen at the time. It was employing like 80 people on productions. They were working there, you know. Eventually I worked there as well. But the point is, it was always in my mind that I have to do this myself. You know what I'm saying? I have to do it. So how am I going to base my level in terms of, am I a junior, am I a senior? It's with the work I complete. So, okay, I've got a series done. I'm not a junior anymore. I've done a whole series by myself with my team. It's my ideas. It's out there. It's making money. I've got thousands of views on YouTube. I've got thousands of subscribers on YouTube. I've got followers for days online. Am I a junior? In fact, I'm even way ahead of most seniors because what they have is it's just a job. What I have is my own IP. You see? So I measured that. It also went with me in my mind, and I've never considered myself a junior. I've never.
Because all the time I'm looking for like animation jobs, it's always like, okay, you're looking for a junior animator,
Yeah.
or a senior. There was like a differential between senior and so you have driven it into your head that okay, I'm still using animation, so therefore I'm a junior.
Yeah. Please hear me correctly, guys, nah? Because what I'm about to say, I'm gonna try and say it in the most politically correct way that I can, nah? So ngiyangicela nje, just try and understand. I'm not going against schools, nah? But right now, indlela that the schools are set up to teach animation, or just to teach in general, does not empower you. Think about it. If you look at a lot of schools, I work at Wits. So I'm saying this based on my experience, right? I know. Most of my students that join my program, come from university, come from college to come learn from me. Why aren't they in the industry? It's because the tools that you get are there to make you an employee. You learn how to do the technical things. You don't learn the business of it. So when I'm okay, you come out, what's next? Applying for jobs. You are at the mercy of the industry. Right now, we have so much opportunity to be self-sustainable. I am a product of that. I started my journey on YouTube. Now, it's not easy. It's not like it's not easy, but the rewards there are major for me because I don't have to rely on a job, right? I'm making the job. So whether there's work in the industry or not, I'm still busy. I'm generating revenue. I'm not relying on the industry. I'm relying on the audience. My idea was, you know what? The more people that have access to me and my content, the better. Because now I have a community that I can call to say, guys, I'm doing this, support me. And they will, because they know in return they're getting value. which is the content that I create. Straightforward. I don't need a middleman. It's just me and my audience. And this is why I've never had to apply for a job. Because everyone that's hired me saw that, like, yo, this guy has direct access to market. Last year in December, I licensed a show that I created to Showmax, right? That was not because I'm talented or anything. No, it's because I've got thousands of subscribers on social media. I've got a following. So they know if we get this on our platform, we're going to also get an audience. You see, that's your value. Our industry is so nice and such that we don't need to go mine things. You don't need to go cut trees. It's all in your head. You come up with the idea, oh, I'm going to tell the story, and you do it. So then it becomes your responsibility to exercise in Mondo Yako. What content are you consuming? What stuff are you reading? What shows are you watching? What conversations are you having on a daily basis? That has a direct impact on the content you create, whether you know it or not. You see? So environment is so important. So important. What you're feeding your mind, especially in our industry, this is your gem. Okay? And I guess that's something that I understood early. Yes, Santi.
Would you say your environment also contributes to how you would see yourself and your worth as a creator?
Yes. So like I said, my stepdad walked from Uganda to South Africa in 3 years. Built himself up. Met my mom when I was like 2 years old. They got married, right? Watching my parents go from living in a one room, them working up, and then now it's a bigger house, 2 room, now it's a 4 room, and watching them. My stepdad now is buying a car from nothing, just them consistently going in. I was like, okay, that means I've got that power as well. I just need to focus and I need to want this. My stepdad never drank, never smoked, never hung out. At 7 p.m. every night, this guy was home. So it was also that, you know, seeing that discipline, like, this guy, yo, he's disciplined. Every 7 p.m., that guy exercised, he gymmed. So his friend circle was not a lot of people, but all the people he surrounded himself with had businesses because he wanted to get into business. Whether the business was big or small, that's a different thing, but it's where he was. Same thing with my mom. If it wasn't a Sontweni, the people that she hung out with were people she worked with. So in my head, that's the trajectory, right? If you want something really bad, you position yourself for it and everything will come. It'll just attract itself. It's really, and also the content you consume, the things you watch, the things you talk about. It's very important to be intentional about that as well. You know?
It's just to add on,
Yeah.
the environment here to is affecting our life. Okunye solo ukuthi siko away
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Because ngisho ngathiwa ugeza ka 7 osukwini. Athi mawuhlala nezinto
So, yeah.
And
I like that.
just an example nje ethanda ukuba lo. I know nothing about animation.
Sure.
But namhlanje ngiyakho.
Yeah.
Umuntu ongakubuza something sengamtshela something nge-animation.
Of course.
So meaning abantu abanabo ngisho ngathiwa nazana kanjani mabe no wrong abawenza ngisho ngaba wena athi usonta bethi uzofaka abanye okholo uzokwenza
Yes.
yes
Yes.
umuntu ohamba nabantu ababhemayo athi no mina ngibhema in 5 years time uzobhema
Yeah.
yabo because
Yeah.
lezi zinto lezi it's like a seed.
Absolutely.
Yonke into ophila kuyona is like iyatshala and into etshalwayo bethi ngisathiwa utshala ama-roses but mawuchelela nokhula liyakhula. So ngisho ngathiwa wena lento ehlezi iba khona kuwena ngisho ngathiwa iside ebingahambela nento zakho but ngokuthi siphila yona it's what we talk about izokhula nakwena yabo. So kubaluleke kakhulu owangempela ngempela ukuthi indawo kuyona wena uhlala nabantu abanjani ngisho bangathi uyazitshela mfethu kufanele uzitshele you are there because usebenzile
100%. Nalento ukuthi uyasitshela. Kumele uzitshele. Uma ungasitsheli, who's gonna tell you? right? It's a good point. Yeah.
So we're saying the environment has a very big impact
Yeah.
on how you look at yourself as a creator.
Yeah.
But we're also saying that it's in the mind, right?
Absolutely.
Because, for example, let's take a GBV situation. You'll find a gentleman that grew up in a family of an abusive father. One may grow up to be completely against that.
Yeah.
One may grow up to feel that's the only way of communicating when in a relationship. But both of these people grew up in the same situation. Like in a similar environment. Yes. So what we're saying is it's not only just looking around you, but it's fixing your mind and telling yourself.
Absolutely. So to even use that, and I like using my experience as a case study because it's really that, and I think that's how people can relate, right? I grew up in Hillbrow. Now, Hillbrow is known for being like that place where the environment is not conducive for growth. But in that environment, my mom, my stepfather, my family, my immediate family, we didn't resemble Hillbrow by the way we conducted ourselves, but we lived in the area. Like I said, my stepdad was 7, was at home. Hillbrow igcwele amaklab kangaka. Yeah, 7 he was in the house.
You have to be practical.
You see, so it's really your decision, your mindset, what you want. You work towards that. What habits are you creating for yourself? What patterns are you creating for yourself? Right? My pattern was simple. Every day I go to school, I come back, I'm indoors. I throw. 4:30, I'm watching Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, I'm back in my room. I throw. I'm a weekend, I see my internet cafe, I shine those corner. Simple. You see? So it's really, and covering your journey. There's a lot of things that I didn't like soccer. I don't like soccer. So most of the guys that I grew up with, like, I mean, I was like, I'm not a soccer guy. So I was always sidelined, which is good for me. It was good for me because, look,
As you were saying that, Morena, my son, he's 10. He's like you.
Yes.
So he doesn't want to go outside and play.
Yes.
He's always on the laptop, always on his phone. Maguti, like now, unama cousins wakhe bave baphuma bayodlala ngaphandle uzosala ayi-1 ku-laptop doing something. It's either create ama-games or wenza something kwi-laptop. Uzumthethisa ukuthi vala i-laptop uhambe uyodlala nabanye abantwana. You understand? And akakuthandi udlala i-hour sekabuyile ubhorekile so phambi kwe-laptop. And mina-ke as a parent, I don't want to lie, ngiyawarishare ukuthi uzoba uthanda kanjani ugijima nezihleli ubhekile laptop. So lento eshoyo ngiyayazi because umntana mncane ungako and already ngiyayibona kuyena ama-cousins wakhe abakhona wazosodlala yena no uright la. And uma ngabe kosa hlale maybe 5 hours ungamphuthi i-laptop uzohlala kuleyo laptop leyo. So nginenkinga ukuthi ngiyenza njani because ngifuna mina ngathi fanele abhalansise.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
It's our industry also, and I said this yesterday. It's not natural for the human body to be seated like this for hours on end. You need to exercise just for your health. Otherwise, you're asking for a heart attack. You can do it now when you're young, but by the time you get to your late 30s, early 40s, it's a different conversation. Now when you're young, you can do them all night. You can do that now, but it catches up to you. So you also have to be, you're absolutely right. So what I did, while I used to draw, my mom put me into gymnastics. So I'm a gymnast, basically. So physically, I was busy. But that was something that I liked. No, I liked it. Namanje nje ngashayela amathambla emangweni. But it's what helped me. So instead of playing soccer and all the stuff that all the other kids did, I drew and did gymnastics.
I'm a very strong believer, yabo. Ngiyakholelwa ukuthi yonke into yenziwa ngoba kufanele yenze.
Yeah.
So bekike ngaba nesikhathi la ibengibuhlungu. I loved gymnastics. Ibengibuhlungu ukuthi indawo engizalelwe kuyona nesikhathi engawathola ngaso. Because ngifika nje bese gymnastic club, I was like ngisacela ukujoyina yabo. Kuthiwa nosabafundisa abantu abadala yabo. Kanti mina no. Hayi ukuthi njengoba ngijoyina nje umfundisi, mina ngiyashaya ifoni.
Sure.
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 And uma beyenza la kwi-flow, ngitshela ukuthi alikho ifoni ababelenza ngingalenzi.
Sure.
But it's just that in me it wasn't clean. And then ntamba manje ngoyazi ngiyakhokhwa la but ayikho inkinga sekubona ukuthi uyincane nepahla eyishaya. It was. And that year ngawenza, I think it was from Feb, and ngo-June kwaba nama competition akhona. And ngaphuma number 1
congrats. Congrats.
For the very first time here at Cape Town, nganje kuba national game. And mind you, labantu engiyocompete nabo mina, abanye they've been doing nama operator for like ama level up sebenza for 2 years, and it's my first time. Sasi 29, I remember ngabo number 9.
Oh, nice.
And kumina that was huge.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, ipahla yami, yabo. The following year esiphambana nami nesikole.
Same thing with me as well. Yeah.
Isikude nala kufanele ngiye khona. So ngiyabona ngisakwazi ukuphuma, mase kufanele mangiphuma esikoleni ngigibele. And ekhaya lento leyo ukuthi mina ngiphuma esikoleni ngigibele ayikwazi ukuthi yenze. So yaphela kanjani indaba yami nama gymnastics, yabo? And so ngihlezi ngidla lento ukuthi yazi kube ngawenza ama gymnastics aloma Olympics mina. Because yabona yabona.
Yeah, but now you can make an animation about that. That's a story. That's content there.
True. So now, I'm a very strong believer. It's like ngathi mina wesunkulunkulu wayelokhu engizwisa kuzona zonke izinto athi wangiphathisa zona. Because indawo engikuyona now njengoba ngisho ukuthi I'm a storyteller first, and a performing artist, and that's why I get to play, so I do acting, poetry, dancing, ngiyadweba nje ukudweba. So lesi space angithatha wangibeka kusona, it's like isona space ebekufanele ukuthi ngibe kusona basically, hence why angiphathisa lenqwaba yalama talent ukuthi ngikwazi ukuthi ngiphilise abantu, because I think ngitshela utalent ukuthi kumina whatever creative form but ishathiwa wenzayo which is artistic, leyo nto kumina it's like uma uyenza usuke uzothinta a person on his soul or her soul. So umuntu responsible for his soul yomuntu, uphefumulo womuntu kulo. So that means what we are doing is beyond the understanding yet, because
absolutely
esebenzisa thina ukuthi
you're hitting it on the mark. Yeah, you're hitting it on the mark.
Abantu angafinyeleli bona kubona, hence why esiphathise ngokwahluka.
Yes.
So kumina ngihlezi ngithi le ndawo angibeke kuyona shuthi indawo engidinga kuyona,
it's not a coincidence.
Now ungaphezulu kwalento thina siyitshela ukuthi siyayenza, which is drawing, dancing, singing, acting. It's beyond that. Sisetshenziswa ukuthi sizokwenza ngaphezulu kwathi okusho ukuthi kumele sihloniphe into esenzayo.
Man, you hit it on the mark. Nice one. Thanks for sharing that.
You
I think
motivational speaker.
Yeah. What I want to say about that is, yeah, I agree with you fully. I think uNkulunkulu, we are all extensions of God, right? And He uses us to engage with each other. So by virtue of whatever it is that you're doing, it will impact someone. So when you are intentional about what it is that you're doing, when you become intentional, I think that's when you hit that sweet spot. That's when, make an example. I just wanted to make this note before I forget. So in 2022, load shedding, I went to a store, UPS, not UPS, man. I'm an inverter, I'm a generator, right? To keep the studio running. I think 10 out 6. So when I get there and I'm buying these inverters, the lady that I met there, she's like, dude, what are you doing with the stuff? What do you do? I've never seen people that look like you buy the stuff in bulk like this. What is it that you do? Are you buying it for yourself? And he said, no, I'm buying it for myself, for my studio. Ngenza buy. This lady goes, oh, Jengawe nje. You know, I've got a son. My son, una 8, uyadrawa. Ay, mara ama-drawing wakhe ayabheda. Sihlale simhleka nje endlini lapho simhleka sithi ayini le. Athi mama bheka, this is you ngikudrawile ngibhenge ethi ikhala lilana amehlo lena ayisihleke nje sithi hayi, you know. Speak for himself, but I think you guys will do best by getting to know him, get his contacts, ask him questions if you need to. I think you have a session
Yeah, now 2, yeah.
at 2.
We're gonna unpack a lot of stuff.
Please, if you can, be part of that session, but this is a gentleman that you need to have within your pipeline, you know, alongside that man over there, Mr. Busani. You guys know him very well. Namaz uput Busani.
No.
Abanye abamazi. So uput Busani, please come up. They need to see you. They need to see you. They need to. Ngiyaxolisa, but it's important. Yeah. So this is the man that actually invited us to the session, you know. Yeah. These are the 2 gentlemen that I just think you guys need to have in your network, because not only are they animation practitioners, but they actually doing a lot of groundwork and making sure that this thing that we do lives on, right? We understand that the more of us they are doing the work that we do, the better the chances of our industry succeeding. And if there's anything that you guys need to learn, it's literally what you're seeing, right? So yeah, I just wanted to just give you guys your flowers before we continue. Thank you. Okay, so please get in touch with them now.
Thank you.
I'm gonna share this with you as well. This is a standard template that I created for costing. Okay? All right. So for costing, yeah. So I thought it's important for you guys to actually see practically what a costing template looks like. So it's not like an abstract idea. Can you please okay, so on the one side we have description, on the one side we have cost, followed by quantity, and then final amount, and then discount if ever there is any. Okay, now we're going to unpack that. Under description, you have the roles of all the individuals that are on the production. Now let's do this exercise together. What roles are they in production?
Producer.
Producer, let's go. Remember guys, there's no wrong answer. What else? The whole thing. Think of the whole thing. Yes, because when you're costing the entire thing. Post, pre, everything.
Wait, we need a script writer.
You need a script writer. It's in no particular order. Okay, you need a script writer. For animation, yeah.
We need a storyboard artist.
Textural.
Director. Okay. Okay. What else? Who else do we need?
The storyboard artist.
Storyboard artist.
We also need people that are going to go scout for us. If we need to do with scouting, or if we need to model a specific place. Yes. If you are working on an animation of a specific location, you need a person that's going to scout, get floor plans, get your pictures of the area and stuff like that. Yeah, you know that need to that
But
go
that's
The ratio.
They go landscaping for you.
yes, Buff.
Now that we're actually talking about this, the problem is one thing I've been struggling with most. Who goes to say the mall, what's that mall? The
Bridge City.
yeah? Bridge City. If Bridge City wants us to do an advert for them, so I have to model the mall as the modeler, so that it can actually shown in the animation. So who goes there to scout the place, take pictures and say, okay, this is the place and this is the floor plan if they could find the floor plan?
Okay. Very, very interesting and important question. Who goes there? It's not a fixed thing that this is the individual that goes there. How we do it, right, is if you're the animator, for instance, right, and you're animating a sequence where someone is doing a front flip, you need reference for that, right? So you're the one that's getting that reference. You're the one that's going online, searching for tumblers online, or you're either recording yourself doing the thing. So you are the one doing the research and development. Say you're the director. You want people to understand your vision, right? You're not just going to tell them ngamakama.
Yeah.
So you're going to go and take pictures. You're going to go online and get as much reference closest to what your vision is, so that you can clearly communicate that. So in research and development, it's everyone.
So I was on told you which is the writer who goes there, because they're the one writing the story. And I mean, as the animator, everything comes to me via the script. Everything I need to know.
That's true.
Through the script.
You're getting the script, but you need to,
Board and,
yes, but you need to animate that thing. You need to shoot your own reference, because you're not going to animate it in your can. It's not going to come out that well unless you're someone like me who's been doing it so often. You've already known how to do it. But generally speaking, everyone, the sound guy, he needs to go and find the reference, if not record the audio himself or herself. So everyone does research and development. It's a requirement for everything. You know what I'm saying? You have to do your own research so that what you're speaking is informed and what you're doing is informed. Yabo? Yeah. Animation is, we're referencing reality and then we're reimagining it. So it's always good to reference. Yabo, Teddy? Yebo. Come on. What is this thing doing?
We're talking straight 2D because there's no line artists. We don't really use line
I think
artists.
there is a line artist
We don't really use
for
it.
3D.
Yeah, for 3D, it's well, maybe for your storyboards and your pre-designs. Maybe you're designing a character, you wanna first draw them first. Yeah, that's where it has to be clean, so that when you model it, you're not thinking, right? You're just making it based on the 2D design. Okay, what else?
Environment design.
Yep. You guys are hot,
The
Moose.
model.
Okay, let's go. What else?
But the model, understand model evidence with design.
UV map.
You got the UV map.
Texture artist.
Okay. Editor, yes. Rigger, yes.
Some design.
Perfect. So we said rigger. So your rigger is, this is also depending. So right now we're just putting everything, nah? But your rigger would depend on the type of animation. Is it 3D? You definitely need a rigger. Is it cutout animation? You definitely need a rigger. Is it traditional animation? You don't need no rigger. What are you rigging?
That's why I was asking if this that we're doing is for what?
No, right now we're just listing everything. I just want to see that you guys understand every role that's required in animation. To get an animation done, these are the people that you need.
And we'll need a person that's going to model everything we design.
Animator!
Editing is never animated, but which way it's no particular order.
Perfect, yes. Yeah.
Can you maybe ngesikhathi sakhe si-free usenzele usifundise i-pipeline nje ngokulandelana kwakhona yaka-animation?
That's what I want to do, but I can't do it in 2 days.
Oh,
So for me, what I'm trying to do now, it's a lot of information, guys. I'm sorry. But I'm squeezing everything into 2 days, so at least you have something to walk out with. I'm deliberately not going into the actual technical side of things because that one, you're not going to learn anything in a day. Yeah. So the more time I have with you guys, of course, that's what we're working towards, Yabo. But that's the plan. That's the plan.
Sound design.
Sound design, yes. The model. Oh, modeler. Oh. Yes. I don't know if I'm spelling it right, but okay. You need to model, yes. Perfect. Line producer, and you said music composer. So there's a difference between a music sound designer and a music composer. Do you guys know what the difference is? Sound design,
It's for all the
music.
sound effects and then it's for soundtracks specifically.
Okay, what's for what?
Sound effects, for example, I would say a sound designer is somebody that looks into all of the sounds that are going to bring the
Dialogue.
thing back into life. Your dialogue to make
Okay, wait, guys, one person.
For example, if there's like footsteps,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that all of those things are there.
Yeah,
All of your background, keys and whatnot.
Yeah.
That would be for the design, and then for the composer, somebody that's going to write actual music like sound.
yes, yes.
Is my sound.
Yes. No, congrats. You're hitting it on the mark. Actually, that's true. The sound designer designs the Foley. We call it Foley. Foley sound. So if characters are walking, that's what the sound designer will make by either recording it or going online and using stuff that exists. Yabo? The music composer, their responsibility now is composing the score. We call it a score. So it's the mood. So if we are in the scene and it's deep, it's sad, you're not going to hear piano and it's a sad scene. You know what I'm saying? Their job is to create the emotional music to convey the messaging in that shot. So those two things are two different things, though they deal with sound. Okay, but okay, you were first and then you come after. Yeah. Okay, sure, yes, Zadi.
My question is, can one person do both?
Yeah.
Yes.
When I started, I did everything. When I started, I did everything. Voice acting, produce everything. You saw the animation. It was bad, but it was me doing everything.
I mean, in a professional setup, like in a professional setup,
Yeah.
we can have one person doing that.
Yeah, if they can do
If
it.
they can.
Yeah, because essentially you pretty much are using similar software. I'm sorry, guys. Do you want to maybe come this side?
I do.
Just use the cap, yeah, because it's burning my hand now. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be cool. So, yeah, I'm getting hungry now, so I'm losing my chain of thought. What are we saying? I'm being honest, when I start getting hungry, chain of thought. Yeah, what is the question? What are we saying? You were saying something, Zandi. Yeah, I was responding to you. Right?
Oh yeah, we were talking about
The sound,
yeah,
composer and
who's doing sound and
Oh, yes, I remember now. Essentially, you're using the same software. Even though the thinking is different, you're using the same software. So the act is the same. It's like drawing. Drawing characters, drawing objects. You're doing the same thing, but you just have to think of it differently. If you're drawing Imoto and you're drawing a character, umuntu, it's two different things, but you are drawing at the end of the day. And you're using the same software at the end of the day. So it's like that with the sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So for a lot of projects this year, I have like also doing editing, I was also responsible for doing sound. Now, I know for sound you're supposed to use Adobe Audition, but I'm not exactly familiar with that software. So it's just Premiere Pro is like editing the sound.
Yeah. That's how I also learned and started. No,
It's efficient. I should just really
I'd say if you're going to work on a sound project or if you're going to do sound, use sound software. Use the software that's designed for that thing because then you'll get the best output.
Yeah.
Softwares like Premiere Pro, they are more for editing. So they'll help you edit the sound, but you can't now compose it. You know, your abilities to manipulate the sound are limited. Whereas if you were using Fruity Loops, for example, or whatever else, Audition or whatever else, you have more leeway.
Do you also recommend DaVinci Resolve?
I have never used DaVinci Resolve, but I've been hearing a lot about it now, especially now.
Do this thing of that everything is under one software.
Yeah.
Because
That's Blender as well now, yeah.
Because when this came out, it was strictly just for color grading. Now it's
Yeah.
editing,
Yeah.
VFX and other stuff. So
Yeah.
it's getting quite good at that.
Guys, right now, and I said this, right now versus when I started, you guys have more tools and resources. When I started, open source was not a thing. Being a free software, all that stuff was pirated. It's either you bought it or you pirated it. You know? And obviously I'm not buying it, I can't afford it. So the best way I did it was to get my friends to give me their copies of what they got at school. You know, which is piracy. Yeah, no, at least the school has a license with the softwares. So if it's City Varsity or if it's whatever college that is, which was the varsity my friends went to, they have a license, and that license is a student's license. So when you're paying your school fees, part of it is you're gonna get that license. You see. So for all the software that they worked on, they got licenses for you. Adobe, that's how I got Adobe. It was through them. That's how I got all of this stuff through them, through their access at school. Yes, Sandy.
Question.
Yeah.
So my engagement right now is on how to be an employable animator.
Okay. Yeah.
So when we've been doing this program for 12 months, and in this 12 months, you designed characters, you did all of the things that were on that list.
We're still not done, by the way. There's still more people.
Yeah, even the things we haven't added onto that
Yes,
list,
yeah.
we've done.
Oh, nice.
So, in other words, I have a lot of things I would say I have in my bucket of skills for animation, both 2D and 3D.
In 3D, yes.
But I feel like there's also a flip side of it, where if I would have maybe focused on something specifically, on a specific craft and perfecting that, I may have been able to then have the types of skills that I think are good enough to be employable.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm trying to ask with this is, would you say to have more chances or opportunities of employment in our field, just for employment?
The first part being the employable part, right? It depends on what the employer is looking for. If I'm looking for one person just to do a single-minded thing, just focus on that, that's what I want. So I just want a character designer.
Let's look at it from an economy perspective.
Okay.
You are a boss.
Yeah.
You employ you, do everything that needs to be done. You set people up for different tasks. So when you're looking at it from an economy perspective, what would you say?
Yeah, obviously the person that can do more is more valuable, right? Because then there's a lot of, what can I say, expertise that I can exploit, right? So the more you know, even you yourself, you become more, you're armored. You can do, you become more flexible. If you just know one thing, that's the only thing you're useful for. So I think by virtue of that, Sinje, clearly knowing more, but knowing more doesn't always make you the best. You see, you can know everything, but you can be 20% good at everything, but you know everything. So I'd need to first see how much you know. Or you could know one thing and know it 100%. I'm definitely hiring that person for character designs because they know it 100%. You know it 20%, but you know everything 20%. The value for me is like I am an example of someone that knows everything. But where you put me in any part of the production, you're going to get high quality. I make those people that focus on one thing, I make them shake. You see, so it's really up to you and your abilities, you know. Yeah, it's really guyang. But I'd prefer someone that at least knows the entire pipeline 60%. that person for me is dope, because then I know they'll obviously working with me, they will improve, they will develop, they will become better, and now you're better at everything. And also I know if there's challenges that come up in production, they are a jack of all trades, so they can problem solve with me, right? Problem solve, because you're not just thinking about that one part. I made an example of the pilot, right? Pilot is in the front of the plane, but he knows what's happening in the back. If there's an emergency, the pilot knows what to do. If something's failing, the pilot knows what to do, but the pilot sits in the front. So it does help you to know the entire scope. Yeah, that's a power. I told you, I've never applied for a job. All the jobs that I've worked at, and I've worked for quite a few organizations, I was asked to come there based on the work that I did by myself online. I teach at Wits. I only have a matric certificate. That's not normal. To teach, you need to have a degree and all of that stuff, because it's an academic space, right? Your work speaks for itself. That's what gets you in the rooms. You know, when big business or when business people are here in rooms discussing your name, that means you're doing something, right? And I prefer that be the way in which I get invited into spaces. I'm here today at KCAP because of the work that I've done. I've been invited here. Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? So that's how I positioned myself. Like I said, coming into animation, I already canceled employment out of my head. I was like, I have to do this myself. And the best way to do this myself is direct to consumer. YouTube, the only thing you need is an email address. Literally, that's the one thing that separates you from your audience, an email address. You go into YouTube, you put your email address, you come up with the name for your channel, you're in. Then the groundwork begins. Now, where's your discipline? Are you disciplined? Do you really want this thing? Are you hungry? Because if you really want this thing, what you're going to do every day, you're going to work towards it every day without fail. Whether you're thinking about it, whether you're planning, whether you're actually putting stuff out there, whether you're selling yourself, looking for partners, but every day you're working towards that goal. My goal was, I want 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. The first animation I uploaded there, actually the 1,000 came after the second one. The second one I uploaded, I had 1,000 subscribers. Now I've got 1,000 subscribers. I'm like, I want 10,000. The 7th video I uploaded, I had 10,000 subscribers. Okay, now I want 1 million. And I'm on my road to 1 million subscribers on the journey. I wanted, you set that and you put things in motion, you arrange the way you live your life, the environments you're in, the things you do on a daily basis. You arrange that so that it can allow you to achieve your goal. You see? Yeah, I think that's the best thing I can say when it comes to that, because there's no one way of doing this. There's some people that, for them, they don't want to do this. It's a lot of work for them. They don't want to be entrepreneurs. They just want to be employed, right? And that's fine. Okay, some people want to do both. They don't want to be employed, they don't want to be a studio runner, but they want to freelance where they can do a bit of both. That is fine, but you just need to understand what's required for all those 3 different individuals. Let me just say, all 3 have pros and cons. Even being a studio head like myself, it has negativity, or it has negatives attached to it. Let's go through them individually. An employee, right? What are the benefits of being an employee?
Every month.
Security. What else?
Well, depending on where you work, you may get other benefits.
Benefits or security still?
It's just that I don't see any other. Everything else.
Structure. Structure, security, structure. Maintenance. You don't need to think too much, right? You come in at 9 or whatever the time, you clock in, you do that one thing you're expected to do. At 5 or 4, whatever time you knock off, you leave, you have your life to yourself. Some people love that, and that's okay. And some of them are designed for that, and that's perfect. You just need to decide your path. Let's look at a freelancer. What are the benefits of being a freelancer?
You're your own boss.
You're your own boss.
But you also do get the.
I'm gonna get to
You can
yeah.
also enjoy the perks of being an employee, depending on what projects you're working on.
Okay,
You can be your
no.
own boss, but you can also enjoy the perks of getting a security type of, depending on what contract you're on.
That's true. Sorry, I just realized. Can we just go back to employee? We just discussed the pros. Let's discuss the cons. What are the bad things of it? And then we'll go to the rest of them. Let's discuss both, not just the good things. What are the negatives of being an employee?
Yeah, you're on a fixed contract.
You're on a fixed contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say 6 months, and 6 months they jump hunting again.
So basically you are at the mercy of your employer. What else?
Lack of freedom.
Lack of freedom. Yes, because you are there to do what you're told. Right? Okay?
Ngathi futhi lack of freedom again ngokuthi if you have something uthanda ukuyenza you come back tired awusakwazi ukuyenza lokho nje.
So it
If ngibeka ngakhona but yeah, for example you are animated for ukusenzela lokho, but if you are full-time employed you kusebenza emsebenzini la where you stand maybe all day, you come back isikhathi esincane to work on yourself.
I see what you're saying. So in many instances, your growth gets stunned, right? You become comfortable in your salary. Most of your time is spent doing this one thing every day. Now, people say stuff like practice makes perfect. I don't think practice makes perfect. You know, I say that. People talk every day. But some people still can't communicate.
Ngiyithanda leyo part because nami ngisho that but mina ngithi-ke practice doesn't make perfect, but practice makes permanent. Because into ozijwayeza yona, if uzijwayeza ungakhulumi kahle uzohlezi umuntu oyidlala.
Yes.
So if uzijwayeza ukuba articulate nokucabangela abanye abantu when you talk, uzohlezi ukhula kuleyo ndawo, uzoba uloyo muntu, not that uzoba umuntu ofana naloyo muntu.
Is it time? Guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to love and leave you. But I'll leave all of this with Uput Busani, just so that you guys can at least revisit these. We'll see how we can do an online session where maybe we can visit some of these. Ngizocela bandla sithola ama-email wabo wonke, and then we can try and host. Oh, Jojo. So we can try and host at least like an online session, just so we can see qedelele kahle, ne? It'll be probably like Google Meets or something, but we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it kahle once we get there. But guys, ngiyabonga, ne? And thank you for coming through today and just taking the time to be here. You could have been anywhere doing anything, but you've decided to invest in yourselves, right, and grow your mental. So I do appreciate that, and I wish you all the best. Now, thank you.